It is a thrill to be back here. The first time I was here was such a great experience. It is nice to be back. My name is Brad Upton. That is not my real name. That is a show business name. My actual birth name is Doja Cat. What are the odds? Well, I guess the pandemic's over. I don't know if it is or not. Apparently it is. Do you remember the first time you put on a mask? I went, is this what my breath smells like? I owe a lot of people an apology. You ever burp wearing a mask? First time I did that, I had to take a knee. Of course, everywhere we go now, we have to take hand sanitizer, which is fine, but everybody that walks in anywhere looks like they're planning something evil. Can you imagine 2 years ago walking into a bank wearing a mask going, you'd have been tased immediately. Remember the first 2 weeks, the shelter in place, we all sat at home and did nothing for 2 weeks, right? Just nothing. It was so boring. I was sitting on my front porch and the recycling truck came down my street for the first time in 2 weeks. Every single house, it was nothing but bottles. Every single wine, whiskey, and beer bottles at every single house. I went, wow, we are all at home hiding our day drinking. Turned the whole country into Utah. But I didn't do anything for a year. I sat at home. I developed a dating app, though, for boomers. It's called Shingles Only. But I feel good. I feel youthful. But all life is for me now is a series of events reminding me I'm getting older. I was at the mall the other day in the food court. Several very attractive women walked past me. I realized I was looking at their food. Was that barbecue? Speaking of getting old, you ever see those commercials on TV for the weight loss product? They always show a woman in her bathing suit, the before and the after picture. You ever look at that before picture and go, she looks all right to me. I got no problem with that one at all. I've been doing this one recently. I wake up in the morning, I throw my feet over the side of the bed, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, oh, I shouldn't have drank so much last night. I didn't drink anything last night. I just wake up feeling like this now. And I don't know when this happened at my house. I realized one day the catalog from Victoria's Secret no longer shows up. It's been replaced by the one from Harry and David's, the gift baskets. Trouble is, I look at it the same way. Oh, look at those smoked cheeses. I love smoked cheese. Oh, this one has shortbread cookies. Do you know what I would do to a whole sleeve of shortbread cookies? I was working with some young comedians recently. They were making fun of me for being old, and they're like, oh, you probably listen to music on a Walkman. I go, well, the joke's on you. I have an iPod. And about the last 10 out of 12 hotels I've checked into, I've gotten the handicapped room. Which I don't care, but I'm like, this is too often to be chanced at this point. What are these clerks thinking when they're looking at me like, oh, I'm not sure that guy can get in and out of the tub by himself. I might need some railings. Part that makes me feel old is when I'm in the shower going, oh, these railings are kind of nice. You ever walk into a dark public restroom? How long do you do this before you realize there's no motion detector in there? Am I the only one? Okay, there must be something on the wall here somewhere. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to walk into one of those restrooms that has the motion detector and just stand on the wall quietly. Wait for somebody to walk in and go, "Hi." Maybe wear clown makeup, you know. I'm from Seattle. I was on the University of Washington campus several years ago. My daughter was a freshman there, and I dropped some stuff off at her dorm, and I came out. It was late October. It was trying to snow. That's all it was. A handful of flakes were coming out of the sky, and these college kids, I don't know where they're from. They weren't local, but they came running out. They threw themselves on the ground. They started making snow angels. All the rest of the kids come out, "Hey, look, first it's got a stick." Get up out of the mud, you idiot. Maybe you should have went to Washington State. We don't happen to have any Washington State alums in here, do we? Because I can slow these down if I need to. How many of you have to put up with some snoring? You got a snoring spouse? Where are the hands? Let's see. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Have you heard this? This is an actual theory. This is a real theory. There are some scientists that believe that snoring is a leftover behavior from our caveman days. One of those things we don't need anymore, but at one time it was advantageous. And you guys are looking at me like I'm nuts, but you can imagine if there were predators creeping around the cave and they're going to go down there and grab somebody, but all they can hear is... It sounds too much like growling. And ladies, I want to ask you this. Has it not worked? Guys, next time your wife gives you one of those in the middle of the night, you go, "I don't see a pack of wolves in here." This is a thing now. I don't know why it's become such a big selling point in every recipe. Everything contains sea salt. All salt is sea salt. It's always been sea salt. Do we need two words to describe salt? It's like, uh-oh, looks like cloud rain. We are going to get water wet. Have you seen the Tibetan sea salt? It says on the package, over 250 million years old. You know what else it says on the package? Best if used by October. I was at the gym the other day. I'm waiting to get on the treadmill. About half of them are broken and the rest are busy. I'm just standing there waiting my turn. And the guy that works there, he's all peppy. He comes over, he goes, "Hey, we got a Stairmaster, we got elliptical, those are available. They give you the same kind of workout." I said, "If you went to the brothel and the madam said all the girls are busy, but there's a couple of guys upstairs." Same kind of workout. I go, "What would you say?" I say we need to fix those treadmills. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. In mid-December, I was in downtown Seattle, and I came across one of those live nativity scenes, and I'd never seen one before. I go, "Oh, check it out, a live nativity scene. Look at there. That's a homeless encampment." All right. Where did they get a camel? I got a cheap hotel recently. I knew it was cheap. I wanted free parking, continental breakfast. That's all I needed. I went down to the lobby in the morning. There was a bucket of water, 2 raw potatoes. I said to the guy that works there, I go, "Your website says there's a continental breakfast." He said, "Doesn't say which continent." That is an excellent loophole, my friend. And it doesn't matter where I travel in the country. It doesn't matter where you go in the country. Highway construction everywhere. It just never ends. And this is what I know about highway construction. Could they bring the temporary cement walls in any closer to the edge of the highway? Like driving isn't hard enough. It's pouring down rain. It's pitch black. You're trying to follow that white line. The white line goes under the cement wall. You ever see those skid marks go up the side of those walls? What happened there? I'm a habitual speeder. Anybody else habitual speeders? Where are my people? That's part of the problem right there. There's not enough of us. There's nothing wrong with traffic we couldn't fix with some speed, folks. Let's go. You know how to make more water go through a hose? Turn it up faster. There's trouble merging in this country, too. Let me tell you how merging works. Listen up, listen carefully. I want you to take this with you tonight, okay? Here's how you merge. Ready for this? Speed up. You see how that works? Go faster. The term is merge, not wedge. Here's the all-American merge right here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 30, 20, 10. If all the traffic's going 70, you don't come down the ramp at 50 and make a hole. You come down at 80 and find one. Yeah. Be a team player. Everybody cheers that. No one ever does it. Let me tell you how you get off the highway. Exit, then brake. It's not brake exit, it's exit brake. That works best for all of us. How many of you here suck at driving? How many of you suck at driving? I need to see more hands. Way more hands. I need to see way more hands. A couple of you are honest. A couple of you, the rest of you, you don't understand. Here's a traffic scenario I'd like to ask you about. Oncoming traffic. You need to make a left through the oncoming traffic. How much room do some of you need? You only have to miss the bumper of the car that just went past. Some of you apparently need to see the horizon. I've made a left out of the second position many times in my life before. I'm like, okay, he could have gone there. He could have gone there. Could have gone there. He's not going here. I am. Boom, right there. Yeah. We got places to go. And who put in all these traffic circles and didn't tell anybody how they work? That circle doesn't have to be empty for you to enter it. There just has to be enough room for you to fit. Pick out a hole and hit that thing like an NFL running back. If you've ever driven up to a traffic circle and stopped, I want you to go home tonight, lay down your keys, and never ever pick them up, ever again. I told you, I'm always speeding. I'm 15 over when I'm early. I don't know what it is. I just think if gamblers could attribute their problem to a disease, I should be able to plead the same thing, don't you? Please, Your Honor, don't find me. I'm just going to speed again. I need treatment. You ever been on a two-lane highway, seen an RV, 10 or 12 cars stacked up behind it? Nobody can pass. One guy, some psycho guy, goes nuts. From the back of the pack, passes the whole row. You ever see that? I'm that guy. Nobody else has any guts, I'll do it. See you suckers later. I think passing's a lost art form. I can pass on a two-lane bridge with a school bus coming at me, no problem. It's a question of three things: heart, commitment, horsepower. That's the other one. You don't want to pass in that smart car. I don't feel very smart right now. I went into a parking garage in Seattle recently. I pay my money. I go up the ramp. There's a big sign on the wall that says speed limit 5 miles an hour. And then in big red letters it says strictly enforced. 5. How'd you like to drive around the corner, see a cop standing there with a radar gun? Hey, 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 hey. Chasing you with his flashlight. Woo! Do you know why I pulled you over? No. Got you doing 7. How'd you like to go to court on that? Mr. Upton been charged with doing 7 and a 5. How do you plead? Embarrassed. In the state of Washington, where I'm from, we have some of the most restrictive anti-smoking laws in the country due to secondhand smoke. They're good laws. You know what I'm tired of, though, we need a law about? Everywhere I fly now, I have to sit like this. You know what I'm getting tired of? Secondhand fat. Every time I get on a jet, there's a 600-pounder coming down the aisle. I'm like, oh, no, 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 not. They always say the same thing. Can I sneak past you? Your sneaking days are over, my friend. You sneak past the Golden Corral one time, all right? You guys can relax on that joke. I look around the room before I do it. Sometimes I have to change it to 800. Felt pretty safe at 600 tonight. If you saw my last special, I made fun of millennials. I don't know if you remember that or not. Yeah, it was quite popular. Do we have anybody here tonight under the age of 30? Any 20-somethings? That's still the dumbest group of humans I've ever met in my life. You're not dumb academically, I'll get to that, but you are soft emotionally, I can tell you that. The reason I say that, when I was growing up, our parents let us play in the street, climb trees, and blow stuff up. And you know what happened if you got hurt or maimed? You got a new name. I had two friends I grew up with, Amer and Niner. When Amer was 6, he was in the garage with his big brothers blowing stuff up. He lost his right eye. It was closed the rest of his life. He looked like he was aiming a gun. That's how he got the name Amer. He was the Amer. Everybody called him Amer. I did not know his name was not Amer. Till the first day of 3rd grade, the teacher said, Ross Thomas. We all went, Ross Thomas, who? Amer, is your name Ross? We started laughing. That sounded funnier to us than Amer did. And Amer says to the teacher, no, my name's Amer. My mom is the only one that calls me Ross. And she goes, well, Amer, how'd you get that name? He goes, do you imagine now a kid even pretending to point a gun at a teacher? There'd be a lockdown, there'd be a helicopter above the school. My friend Niner in the 4th grade, there were 4 of us. We were all out in the woods together. We were all climbing trees. We were all up about 15 feet, and he fell. And on the way down, he was trying to grab branches, and by the time he hit the ground, he'd lost most of his ring finger. And every time I tell this story, I still picture it. It's 55 years ago. It still makes me laugh. Because he got up and he's dusting himself off. He's going, I'm bleeding somewhere. I'm bleeding. I'm cut. I don't know what. And my other friend says, look at your hand. And he screamed and he ran home. And we all climbed down and followed him, but none of us thought to look for his finger. About 4 days later, he's back in class. His hand's all heavily bandaged up. We're learning about decimal points for the first time in our life. He raises his hand. He says, I have 9.2 fingers. Called him Niner for the rest of his life. When I was a kid, everybody had a nickname. Every single kid. Nobody went by their real name. And it was given to you by your friends, usually about a body part that was not flattering. I had friends who were Paunch, Taterhead, Lips, Chin. Lips had big old Pete Davidson lips. Chin didn't have one. We originally called him Viola because we knew he'd never play one. I had another friend in high school. He had a short right arm. It was fully functional, but it was a short arm on this side, right? So he had a big hand and a little hand. We called him Clock. Everybody called him Clock. The teachers called him Clock. He was Clock. Clock was awesome, too. He was in my second period algebra class, and we were supposed to be in our seats every day at 9 o'clock when the bell rang, but Clock would always wait out in the hall until that bell rang, and he'd burst through the door every morning like this. It was never not funny. Every single day we waited for that moment and laughed for 10 minutes. One day we're sitting in class, the bell rings, and he doesn't come through the door. We're like, oh, well, that's weird. Where's Clock? Must be absent. Well, he was tardy. 10 minutes later, he burst through that door like... We laughed until 9:30. And Clock was the best student in class, and he was by far the best student in class. And every Friday, we had to race him on problems. The teacher would put problems up on the board. We had to compete against him. We called it Beat the Clock. Nobody could beat him. He had that left hand going like this, and the eraser in his short hand, and like... One time in PE class, this is after class, we're in the locker room changing, right? And we had two new kids in class, and they were bullies. And they were bullying Clock. And so Clock's in there, and he goes, I'm going to knock you out with this hand. And then he goes, boom, and just spins this kid and knocks him out, just boom, hits the ground. And then he turns the other one and goes, or this one. And when he hit that kid, we all hooted and hollered, and the teacher came running out of his office. What's going on? What's going on? We said, well, these guys were bullying Clock, and he knocked one of them out. And by then, this kid's kind of getting up, and the teacher just walks over and goes, you just got knocked out by a kid with a half arm. Hope you learn to keep your mouth shut. And that was the end of it. Nobody got sent to the office. Nobody got suspended. Nobody's parents got called. Nowadays, Clock would have been the one that got suspended for throwing that first punch. And then you'd have to bring your parents and get an anger management plan. Well, I got angry and I punched that kid. That's the plan. Can you imagine now calling kids by their afflictions? Hey, here's my buddies, Blinky and Snort. Here's my other friend, Orphan. His parents were anti-vaxxers. Not accurate. I said the 20-somethings are dumb. They're not dumb. It's just certain ways of the world. The reason I say that, you watch, in the not-too-distant future, hackers are going to knock out our cell phones and the internet. These 20-somethings that are come to a stop, stare at their phone, and have no idea what to do next. Because they've always had an internet connection. If we lose the internet, us old folks, we got a plan B. You 20-somethings are going to have to find a bunch of old people and ask us how to do stuff. Hey, mister, can you help me get home? I don't know how to do directions. Well, I can draw you a map, but you're going to have to listen and store the information in your head. And I'm not here to tell you life was better before cell phones. It wasn't. I love my phone. I'm addicted to that thing. You ever lose your phone? Oh, that's a panic attack. I lost my kid at the mall one time. I didn't panic like that. Because I have two kids. Never has technology moved so quickly as the past 20-plus years. My son was at my house a couple of years ago. He called my mom, his grandma. He turns to me, goes, I think Grandma's phone's broken. I go, why? He goes, listen to this. I go, it's a busy signal. He'd never heard one. He goes, now what do I do? I go, hang up. He goes, how do I leave a message? I go, you don't. He goes, now what do I do? I go, well, wait a few minutes. Call her back. He goes, that's stupid. And I don't know what it was like in your house growing up. My house growing up, my dad never answered the phone. He wasn't getting out of his big old chair. That phone rang, he'd just look at us kids. It was our job to answer the phone, right? I was telling my son that story one day. He goes, why didn't you tell your dad to get the phone? My World War II Marine dad? I tried it once. Had no idea to get out of the chair that quickly. When I woke up, that phone was inside me. Hey, Dad, why don't you get the... Here's something that kills me about technology and old people, and by old people, I'm talking about people my age. Watch us when people are taking pictures. They got the camera out. We all stop. We don't want to walk in front of it because we think we're going to ruin the film. Hey, boomer, no more film. Keep moving. These guys delete more pictures in an hour than we used to take in a year. You remember roll of 24? That thing would last you all year. You get that back, you go, look, there's Uncle Billy. He's been dead at least a year. Oh, my. I got some new Uncle Billy photos. And photos weren't unlimited. You had to keep track. Remember that little counter on the bottom of the camera told you how many were left? That's why all the Sasquatch photos are crappy. Everybody was down to their last shot. Like, oh, there he is. Click. Ah. Behind a tree. Before COVID, I worked in Singapore and Hong Kong. I worked these English-speaking comedy clubs, and I flew from Hong Kong to Singapore on Tiger. It's this cut-rate Asian airline. They cram you all close together. And I don't feel like a big man. But in Asia, I'm gigantic. I did not realize it till I was standing at the gate looking around going, oh my, I'm the biggest guy here by a lot. So I'm 6'1", 190. 195? 200? Probably 202 this morning. Anyway, I was the biggest guy by a lot on the jet, and I had a window seat, and there was a guy in the aisle, and I said, can I sneak past you? He said, your sneaking days are over, my friend. I watched the Winter Olympics, the Summer Olympics this past year. I've been asking a lot of audiences, and a lot of people didn't watch. I'm surprised, because I love the Olympics. I'm fascinated by the greatest athletes in the world, but some of the sports, I'm thinking, do they belong in the Olympics? Like archery and rifle? I mean, those are cool skills, but you could be a fat, chain-smoking alcoholic and be a great shot. There should have to be some cardio involved, I think. That's not real athletic, and those people's greatest skill is the ability to stand perfectly still. How athletic is that? I'm one of the greatest athletes in the world. Ever since I was 6, everybody's been calling me the aimer. I like track and field, but it's not that popular with the general public. I'm thinking, you want to spice that up? Let's let them run with scissors. We've always heard that's dangerous. Is it? Let's find out. Told you from Seattle, 2 of the richest men in the world live there, Bezos and Gates. Bezos has about 200 billion. Gates has about 160 billion. You know what 200 billion is? That's 1,000,000 times 200,000. 200,000 times 1 million. I think any of us would be very excited to see $200,000 sitting right in front of you, right? And if you had $200,000 sitting in front of you and somebody asked for $1, you'd go, well, sure, you can have $1, you can have $1, I'll give everybody in the room $1. I basically still have $200,000, right? That's what $1 million is to those guys. Doesn't mean anything. Do you think they come home after a hard day and go, oh boy, I feel like $1 million bucks? But you know what they can never have that we can have? There is a thrill they can never have that we can have. You ever put on an old article of clothing you haven't worn in a while, find a $20 bill in the pocket? Like, oh, there's a 20 in here, you kidding me? 20 bucks, woo, woo, woo. There's also no tip that they can leave that won't anger the wait staff. If I left a $50 bill on a $20 drink tab, that bartender would know my name next time I walked in there. Bezos, Gates, they leave $1,000 on a $20 bar tab. Bartender goes, what a jerk. Could have left me $1 million. I said Bezos has 40 billion more than Gates. They both live in Seattle. They must have gone to dinner at some point. You think when that check hit the table, do you think Bill just short-armed it just a little bit? Like, you didn't get that, Jeff? All right, thanks, man. I don't have rocket ship money. Last March, my wife and I celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. Thank you very much. Yeah. We have 2 kids. We stopped at 2 kids. I had a vasectomy. This is called elective surgery. Like there was an election. My wife had a vote. I had a vote. I lost the election. Always do a vasectomy on a Friday, so you go home and sit all weekend in the lazy boy with a remote in your hand, a bag of ice in your lap, which really, when you get right down to it, it's like any other weekend. Having children's been a blessing, and I always tell people this, though. If you're ever thinking about having kids and you're really not sure, you know what you want to do? Make a trip to Disneyland. You'll give yourself a vasectomy. You know what? You'll do it right there in the Magic Kingdom, too. You'll knock over Mickey getting to the food court so you can grab a plastic knife. Like, oh. Please make it stop. I don't know if you saw my last show, too. I did a bit about all the pillows on the bed and how it drives guys. Remember that one, too? It was very popular. I was in Bed Bath & Beyond recently. Down the aisle from me, I heard a couple having this exact argument, and the guy was really being mean to his wife. He took it way too far, and he was just yelling at her. He's going, I don't know why we're spending all this money on these unnecessary decorations. You know we don't have money for these unnecessary decorations. The backsplash, the valance, the window treatments. This is a waste of money. I'm like, all right, that's enough. Anyway, a few minutes later, I'm out in the parking lot. I'm getting ready to leave. They come walking out together. They go over to his giant pickup truck that's jacked this high off the ground with huge knobby tires and a chrome roll bar and a chrome running board and every piece of custom equipment you can put on a truck. And I roll down the window and go, hey man, I like your truck. He goes, thanks, bro. I go, it looks like you got that thing covered in unnecessary decorations. And I made eye contact with her, and I know she would have married me. I have never seen such love in a woman's eyes. I have a question about the big truck guys, and I don't know if we got any big truck guys in here tonight, but the 2 most macho things in our society, the AR-15 and the big giant truck, those are the things you can customize the most, am I right? Yeah, and let's not kid each other, that is decorating. These are men that like to accessorize and decorate in ways that will appeal to and attract other men. There's no other way to spin that, folks. The more they customize, the more their secret is out. Take down that rebel flag, run up the rainbow, be who you are. Right after the show, I'm going to be out in the parking lot getting beat up by a couple of big trucks. So if you want to come out and watch that, come on out. I came over to the liquor store a few weeks ago. I had a bottle of scotch in my hand, and my wife said, how much that cost? I said, $52. She said, $52 for a bottle of scotch? Why is it so expensive? You get it cheaper than that. You know what I did? Walked right into the bathroom. I got into her makeup drawer. I grabbed a bottle this big. Some of you ladies know where I'm going on this one, don't you? Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair Eye Recovery Complex. Want to guess what that 2-ounce bottle might cost? $75. That costs more than insulin. I'll tell you what, if my house is ever on fire, I have a chance to save something, I'm grabbing that makeup drawer. There's easily $15,000 worth of stuff in that drawer. I said to her, I go, what do you use this for? She said, you put it on your eyes at night, and in the morning, they're not so puffy. I went, that sounds like it goes great with scotch. I might have to give this a shot. I said, really, what do you use all this makeup for? She said, it makes me look young and beautiful. I said, so does the scotch. I just toasted the audience in a place called Dry Bar. Realized that as soon as I did it. I went, oh. I did this last fall right before Thanksgiving. Never do this, never do this. I was at Costco. I'm driving through the parking lot, 4 miles an hour. I'm just looking for a parking spot. I'm creeping along. I'm composing a voice text to my wife. I said, hey, I'm at Costco. Do we need anything? And at that moment, this lady turns right in front of me, almost clips my car. I go, you stupid. You see where this is going. Send. My message said, hey, I'm at Costco. Do we need anything, you stupid? My phone rang immediately. It's like, well, that's weird. She never responds to my text. She goes, you at Costco? I go, yeah. She goes, buy a pumpkin, shove it up here. Wait, what? Oh, no. Before COVID, I was also working on cruise ships once in a while. I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise. If you have or haven't, every cruise begins with the lifeboat drill. And you know what my favorite part of any lifeboat drill is? When they show you that little whistle. Nothing says instant rescue quite like. That'll bring the Coast Guard right in, won't it? You're bobbing around in the ocean. They're 2,000 feet up in a noisy helicopter. Shh, shh, shh. Oh, there they are, right there. You know, killer whales also communicate with a whistling sound. You know what that whistling noise means in the orca language? Smorgasbord, right this way. I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise, if you have or haven't, but every single morning they give you a list of every single activity that's taken place on the ship. First time I worked a cruise ship, 1999, I had no idea what LGBT gathering was, but I thought, man, they meet in a bar every night. I bet I belong to that group. LGBT's got to stand for Let's Get Blasted Together. I bet I belong to this group. Then they put a Q in there. I go, that's probably for quickly. Pretty sure I belong to this group. So I started going, and I do not belong to that group. But when they found out I was there, they made me an honorary member. They said, sit down, you're an idiot. We're having trouble in Seattle with geese, Canada geese. Big, fat, mean pooping machines is what they are. They're everywhere. They're mean as can be. They don't migrate anymore. And you know what? We have hungry homeless people. We have extra geese. Anybody else see a possible solution? You know, with a loaf of Wonder Bread and a wiffle ball bat, I can clean up a park real quick. It's a good visual, isn't it? But one of the solutions in Seattle was they tried to round them up, these geese, put them in trucks, take them to Idaho. There's my tax dollars at work. Trucking birds to Idaho. Because you know those birds got back before those trucks did. But I read in the paper, it said these geese defecate 5 to 18 times per hour. I know, it's an amazing statistic. But you know what's more amazing? You stop to realize in order to gather that information. Some guy with a college degree, a clipboard, and a stopwatch. Hate this job. Spent 4 years at Washington State for this. I'm just kidding. Nobody ever graduated in 4 years. Right after the show, after the big truck guys get done with me, you might want to come out and watch the WSU alums. You ever say something to somebody, you know exactly what you meant. It just comes out wrong. Or somebody says something to you, you know what they meant. It just comes out wrong. A few weeks ago, Saturday morning, I go to the mall. Friday night, I've done 2 shows, great shows, club's packed, everybody's laughing. Saturday morning, I go to the mall. This guy spots me clear across the mall. He yells, "Hey, dude, you were great last night. My cheeks are still sore." That shopping trip is over. And so is my special. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be here. I know a lot of you looking at me right now and you're going, I think this guy did my taxes. I'll do them, but you'll go to jail. Some of you are looking at me too going, this guy's kind of old. I get it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm getting older. The other day I got mad at this old guy because he was doing something old guys do, and then I got a good look at him and I went, oh man, I went to high school with that guy. This will wreck your day, make you feel 1,000 years old. You ever get on a website, you have to enter your own personal information, you have to scroll down to your birth year? Come on, you gotta be kidding me, really? I felt young the other day. I was in the grocery store. I was in the produce section all by myself, middle of the afternoon. Then the van from the retirement village shows up. All of a sudden, I'm the youngest guy in that store by about 30 years. I'm in the produce section. I'm the only guy fast enough to tear off those plastic bags. You know, there you go. You're welcome. Have a nice day. One for each of you. Hurry up, jeez. You ever see the old folks try and snap those bags off? They get 20 or 30 on the floor. I went to the mall, the old folks at the mall. You ever seen the old folks try and get on the escalator? They're standing there trying to time that step coming out. And when do you lose that skill? Does that just happen overnight? I mean, you just go to the mall one day and just go, whoa, that thing is moving right there. Oh. Here's a tip for all of you on the escalator. When you get to the top or the bottom, you don't know where you're going, step aside, then make a plan. How hard a concept is that for people to wrap their heads around? They get off the top, okay, which way are we gonna go? It's 400 people being force-fed up your backside. Move. I'm from Seattle. Marijuana's now legal. You can buy it in a cookie, so now I know how to shut up the neighbor's dog. There you go, Sparky. You better get out of the sun. You're about to take a long nap, my friend. You're looking around going, that's a good idea. I went to Hong Kong and Singapore, worked these English-speaking comedy clubs, spent several days exploring Hong Kong, but there was something different about the city. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Finally figured it out. You know what it is? No Chinatown. It's a stupid joke, I know that. I got here yesterday. We landed in Salt Lake City, took a Uber down here, and the guy had the radio on, and one of your local hospitals is doing an ad for their emergency room. Is that something you shop around for? An emergency room? Honey, I got my finger off the table, so I'm in the emergency room. Let's try that new place in Spanish for it. Get the Sunday paper, there's a coupon in there. If your finger's half off, it's half off. And then some mattress firm, some mattress store running an ad right now telling you can finance a mattress over 48 months. If it takes you 4 years to pay off a mattress, you can't afford a mattress. If it takes you 4 years to pay off a mattress, nothing will help you sleep better. You want to sleep better? Get a career where you can afford a mattress. And how did the entire mattress industry decide from coast to coast the only way we can move this product is to get a tattooed meth head out on the sidewalk with a sign and spin that thing around a few times? A mattress is not an impulse buy. You have never been driving home from work and went, I gotta get a mattress on the way. You know what? Every time I see that guy on the sidewalk, you know what I'm thinking? That's the owner's nephew. He told his sister, I'll give him a job, but he's not coming in the store. How about this piece of advertising? Ever drive by a business, there's a big banner hanging out front that says, under new management. Has that ever worked and brought in a customer? It's always on a mini mart or an old motel. That's where you see that thing. Hey, honey, you know that motel on the old highway where those people got shot and they were making meth? It's under new management. We should check it out. You know what that sign should say? Still a dump. You know what sign I saw in my neighborhood? A handmade sign in a guy's front yard. It said garage sell. Sell, S-E-L-L, garage sell. What kind of hillbilly meth head misspells the word sale? That word's everywhere. On sale, for sale, back to school sale, sale, S-A-I-L. It's nice to work in front of smart people, it really is. 'Cause there are places in this country, they stare at me on that one. You spelled that all right. See this, the West Virginia State Legislature passed their roadkill bill, making it easier for the citizens of West Virginia to possess and eat their roadkill. Hey, honey, I'm leaving work. You want me to hit something? What a great DUI defense that is. I pulled you over, swirl back there. You been drinking? I was hunting. Good luck. I have a website. It's bradupton.com. The only reason I tell you, I don't feel the need to put the www in there. Do we need to hear that on websites? www. They're all www. What's that short for, by the way? World Wide Web. Right. World Wide Web has 3 syllables. www has 9. It's not short for anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Some of you guys are looking at me like the Taliban watching baseball. The NCAA said that all colleges with an Indian mascot had to get rid of their Indian mascot because it was offensive to Indians. The NCAA is headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana. Slightly ironic. Did you guys watch the Olympics last summer? Of course you did. America did great in the Olympics. We had a great Olympic Games. That was great. You know, though, when you're watching the Olympic Games, you see the 8 fastest men in the world, the 8 fastest women in the world. I think we forget how fast they are. You know what I think they ought to do to keep it in perspective? Pull somebody out of the stands, give them a shot at the goal.
Section 32, row 6, seat 9, come on down, you're going for the goal.
Some fat guy with a selfie stick. That is a 35-second 100 meters right there, ladies. You know what else I'd like to see in the Olympics sometime? Just some athlete snap and lose it. Just lose his cool, like a diver. He's in 6th. It's his last jump. He knows he can't medal. He walks out there and goes, you know what? I trained half my life for this. I'm not going to get anything. Because the next day, no one would know who won that competition. Everybody in the world would know that guy's name. He'd be doing endorsements for the rest of his life. Do you know from 1900 to 1920, tug of war was an Olympic sport? Tug of war. I wish they'd bring that back. I'd like to see some big Russian steroid monsters against like the strongest guys from Somalia. Vlad, Sasha, check these guys. See the arms come off? I believe we won. Who's next? Mexico. The Mexican team. Tug of war? I thought you said taco war. Es no bueno. 2010, I was in Vancouver. I got some tickets for the Olympic Games, and I got to see luge, and they were interviewing this guy, this luge legend, 38 years old, been in 4 Olympics, going to retire after the Olympics from luge. I thought, how do you retire from that sport? It's laying down. It's not like you're going to lose a step. It's laying down. Laying down is the only skill you get better at every year you're alive. And eventually you master it. You can send a corpse down the hill and get a great time. The stiffer the better. Like, oh, Grandpa's going for it. Look at him. Then I had tickets to go see biathlon. You know what that is. Cross-country skiing and target shooting. How do you put those two oddball events together and come up with a sport? Hey, I know. Let's run the 110-meter high hurdles and change the brakes on a 79 Plymouth Fury. I'm the world's best. I've interviewed the American. He was ranked 20th in the world, and they asked him, what are your chances? And I thought, you know what? You're skiing through the woods with a rifle. Pretty good. I'm coming out of the woods in first place under those circumstances. I'm low on ammo, but I'm in the lead. Did you guys follow me on that one? I shot everybody. How many are not under the age of 30? 20-somethings? Let me hear from the 20-somethings. Yeah. These are the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. Not personally, just as a group. Do me a favor, put some cash in your pocket, or use your debit cards for every $1.17 purchase. I get so tired of standing behind on a mini-mart. That's $1.17. Here's my debit card. You don't have a buck and a quarter? I know they're dumber than people my age. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have any childproof caps. You dropped a Coke bottle, it didn't bounce, it shattered. Our parents let us play with guns and knives and fireworks. You know what happened to the dumb kids? They didn't make it. It's true. These guys grew up in a world that's childproofed and padded. All the dumb ones lived. Now they use debit cards for $1.17 purchases. You ever see what they're buying? Energy drinks. How much energy do you need in your 20s? Should be selling those at the retirement village. That's the target market right there. A couple of monsters and a Red Bull are gonna pick up that bingo game, I'm sure. B19, that's mine. A lot of our terms don't mean anything. I don't want to sound like a broken record. You know what that means, right? People under 30 never own a record player. They don't know what that means. They don't know what that means. They don't know what that means. You still don't. You ever watch them on their smartphones? Can't put them down. Somebody calls, somebody texts, they need a tweet. Jeez, focus. You ever take a smartphone away from a 20-something? They don't know what to do. They look like they got hit with a shovel. It's like... I should have learned how to talk to people. The text never ends either. It's nonstop. Did you know in Seattle, I'm not making this up, there's a public service campaign going on. It's on the buses, in the newspapers, on the radio stations, telling young people, you cannot text 911. You have to call and use your voice. I wish I was making that up. Because apparently they've had trouble with it. OMG, someone's in the house. I am not ROFLMAO. These initials for everything you either take. It's all initials. End of a funny sentence, LOL. You know, we used to put initials at the end of a funny sentence. We used to write H-A-H-A. It's pronounced ha-ha, and it stood for ha-ha. Which is a much better way to say ha-ha than lol. You're not the first ones to use the initials, FYI. I make fun of the 20-somethings with their phones, but you know what? I'm as bad as they are. They're addictive. It's instant information at the end of your hand. It's hard to leave them alone, but I do miss the black, old-school rotary phones. You know why and what those are good for? 20-somethings, you're missing out on this. The older people remember this. End in an argument. Yeah. Remember slamming those down? Felt good to slam a phone down. You could let some aggression out. You know what? Kiss mine. Bang. Felt good. Can't do that with a smartphone. You kiss mine, beep, click. You tear your pants pocket out doing that. Now, those old phones, there was a bell in there. You slammed it hard enough, you could ring it. Look, I see some people nodding there, remember? You know what? Kiss mine. Bing. You guys know I did this? Phones used to be on the wall. I'm not making that up. Tell you something else, people used to call us. We didn't know who it was. I'm not making that up either, am I? Remember the phone would ring, you would run to answer it. You pull your hamstring getting to the phone. Now you hear that thing ring, you go, "Well, whatever." And do you know why you would run? Listen to this. Do you know why you would run to the phone? Listen to this. Because if you didn't get there, there were no answering machines. Look at you looking at me like, "No way." And then you didn't know. You did not know. You'd stand like, "Who was that?" And then, listen to this. You had to call all your friends, listen to this, on numbers that you stored in your head. I'm not making that up either, am I? No. All the old people in here, they know the number of the house they grew up in. Am I right? Yeah. Now do you know your spouse's number? No. Phones are smart. We're not. Some kids are having trouble telling time now. They never see the face of a clock. They don't know how to tell time. Think about the crummy fighter pilots they're going to make. Enemy aircraft, 2 o'clock. That's in an hour. You don't need to stop in this country. Any kind of restaurant, you go into like an Applebee's, one of those chains. This is so annoying. Where the staff sings happy birthday to somebody. Yeah, look at your nod. Why do we do it? Everybody involved hates it. Staff hates it, diners hate it, birthday boy hates it. You know who likes it? Birthday boy's friend. Yeah, that's the one idiot enjoying that moment right there. They're like the arsonist at the fire, like, I caused this. Speaking of birthdays, I was in a Hallmark store that day looking at birthday cards. Have you seen this? Hallmark has a line of birthday cards now for people turning 100. How many of those do you think they sell in a week? Those cannot be flying off the shelf. And if you have to buy a card for somebody's turn 100, put that off to the last minute. It's okay to laugh at that. It's not like they're here. They're at the casino. This happened in Seattle a few months ago. A guy got killed on the interstate. He was driving the wrong way down the interstate. And the police spokesman was quoted as saying, "We don't know how fast he was traveling, but the posted speed limit on that section of the highway is 60 miles an hour. If you're driving the wrong way down the interstate, all the speed limit signs are silver." I don't think speed's your biggest worry at that point. Hope I don't get a ticket. I was flipping through the channels the other night and I came across a senior golf tournament. I thought, who's watching seniors play golf? Who has that kind of time in your life? You know what I would watch though? Senior cage fighting. I don't think I could sleep if I thought that was on. A couple of 20-year-olds in the cage, they're gonna fight again in a month. A couple of 80-year-olds in there, that's a death match. Tap out, crap out, nap out. That's how that's done. You ever see these kind of stories? Somebody gets killed, kind of tragic circumstances. Maybe they were rock climbing, fishing, skydiving, they get killed. And people always say this, I know they mean well. They go, at least he died doing something he loved. Which to me is the cruelest irony of all time. Because if I told you I was going to teach you how to fish, you're going to love fishing. You're going to fish almost every weekend for the next 30 years. But eventually, you're going to fall off a boat and drown. You'd go, well, you know what? I think I want to learn how to draw. You want to be happy for somebody? Hope they died doing something they hated. Then they didn't have to finish. I want to die on Thanksgiving weekend at my in-laws' house. Maybe I can ruin that weekend for them one time. You ever hear I died under those circumstances? I want you to be happy for me. Ah, that's great. He hated doing that. I got invited to a 70s theme party recently. I went to the Goodwill store to look for an ugly plaid jacket, and I found it. And as I got to the cash register, I discovered that Goodwill sells gift cards. Let me repeat that one more time. Goodwill sells gift cards. When is it ever appropriate to give or to receive a Goodwill gift card? Hey, I'm spending some money. Why don't you buy yourself something? Nothing new, of course. But I'm guessing there's a used crock pot or a t-shirt worn by a stranger in here with your name on it. If you ever open a card and a Goodwill gift card drops out of there, might want to rethink the relationship. Look, honey, dinner for two at the food bank. The Goodwill store by my house last June said 50% off Father's Day sale. Nothing says I love you, Pops. Quite like, hey, Dad, jump in the car. We don't want to pay full price for the used stuff. If my kids ever take me to Goodwill on Father's Day, you know what I want for Father's Day? I want some new kids. I'm supposed to go to the Home Depot this weekend. I am not looking forward to that. I don't like going into the Home Depot. You know what? Why have 12 checkout stands if you're never going to open them all at once? You ever seen them all open at once? No. What set of circumstances has to occur? Hey, I got an idea. How about Sunday afternoon? There's 40 of us in this line. Now they make you scan your own things in there. You know what I do? This is brilliant. The machine gives you the option of Spanish or English, right? There's always somebody watching the self-serve machines. I just hit Spanish and go, hey, could you do this for me? They come over every time. They do it for you. They look at you like an idiot. It doesn't matter. You know why? You're not the one wearing the orange vest. Guy got all finished. I said, gracias. Me gusta el chaleco. I did a show a couple years ago in August in Phoenix, Arizona. You ever been to Phoenix in August? Oh, yeah, it's nice. About 180 every day. What do locals always tell me about the heat? Dry heat, yeah. You know what? So's fire. One time walking by the bank, you know the sign that flashes back and forth between the time and the temperature? At 1:09 in the afternoon, the time and the temperature was exactly the same. That sign's going 1:09, 1:09, 1:09. I went, oh, better not be like that at 4:30. But if you've never been there, it's so dry. You get chapped lips, you get nosebleeds. They always talk about how many old people live in Phoenix. I don't think they're old. I think they're dried out. They're in their 20s. They just need a glass of water. They could get one if they had a debit card. I will tell you a little bit about myself. I am recently a widower. If everything went as planned. These are jokes, folks. Relax. It's a comedy show. It's not true. My wife and I have been together 37 years. Thank you very much. That's pretty good, huh? Yeah. Married 30, been together 37 years. We have a 22-year-old son, a 20-year-old daughter. They both drive, of course. You know what that means? As soon as they get in the car, they take over the radio station. I have to listen to the worst music I've ever heard in my life. You know what? I figured out how to get a change of station. Sing along. Honey got a booty like pow, pow, pow. Dad, stop it. Call me Mr. Flintstone, because I can make you bad rock. Stop it! Why are you doing that? I blame it on the alcohol. My son says, you sound stupid. I said, I got one less problem without you. He says, why are you poking me? I go, can't keep my hands to myself. I love it when in the kitchen, my two kids, my wife walks in, I go, honey got a booty like pow, pow, pow. And you know what? That's her cue to give me one of those things right there. Let me tell you something. We don't see the kids for a couple of days. I highly recommend it. Honey got a booty like pow, pow, pow. What kind of lyric is that? They don't write them like they used to. I know that. George Harrison wrote the most beautiful Beatles songs of all time. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. That's a beautiful lyric. You know what he's trying to say. Honey got a booty like pow, pow, pow. I don't mess with my kids a little. I had to take those car seats out of the back. Ever do that as a parent? Take the car seats out of the back and then clean up the crack of the seat? disgusting. Full of broken cookies, raisins, M&Ms, pretzels. I think that's how they invented trail mix. I will guarantee you that's how that product originated. It wasn't a hiker that came up with trail mix. It was a parent somewhere that climbed in the backseat of the minivan, scooped that up and went, you know what, if you took that fuzz and that Band-Aid out of there. I would eat that. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be single again. Go out to a nightclub and say something to a woman to impress her. I haven't done that in 37 years. I have no idea what I would say to a female anymore. I really don't. You know what I do now? I bet I would walk up to a woman and go, hey, you know what? I vacuumed the whole house today. Did a couple loads of wash, folded it, put it away. Some of you ladies are liking this, aren't you? Instead of a whole pile of laundry, I'm gonna iron every piece of that. Then I'd like to unload your dishwasher. The women are going, oh my word. You've been married a long time. Your wife, give you a list of things to do around the house. Am I right, fellas? A honey-do list. Honey, do this, honey, do that. Can you imagine ever walking up to your wife, handing her a list and going, here, get these things done? Let me know how that works out for you. Not in a million years would it ever occur to any one of us to try and pull that one off. I said to my wife, you give me a list of things to do if I give you a list of things to quit doing. How about that? How about a honey don't list? Perfectly fair. You don't know what a list is, ladies? Don't put so many pillows on the bed. Gee, how many pillows do we need on a bed? 2 heads, 2 pillows. That's all we need on there. I'll bet every bed here's got 8 or 10 pillows. Am I right, fellas? Yeah. What do you do when you go to bed, guys? You grab 3 of them, you throw them right on the floor. You gotta lay down somewhere. If you put your head on pillow number 3, your feet are 1.5 feet off the end of the bed. Just grab them and throw them on the floor. And ladies, if you put a new bedspread on or new pillowcases and we don't notice, don't get upset. You know why? We don't care. We don't care. My wife said, didn't you notice we had new pillowcases? Here's something every couple has in common. I don't care if you've been together 5 weeks or 50 years. You have your side of the bed you sleep on, and under no circumstances will it ever change. Can you imagine going to bed some night, your spouse went to bed an hour before you did, you walk in there, she's asleep on your side of the bed? Would you look at her and go, oh, how sweet. The love of my life fell asleep on my side of the bed. I don't wake her up, I'll sleep on her side of the bed. No, you pull up the sheets, you go, move over. It's not like you want to sleep on her side of the bed. You ever seen her nightstand? Some of the things sitting over there? How about that file they're using their feet? You ever seen that thing? Are you starting a fire? You just scared the cat. I'm taking the calluses off my heel. Well, do that outside. I'll get the shop vac now. Should I grab the sander while I'm out there? God, I think I married Wilma Flintstone. When your kids are little, you keep Serpivepicac in the house. You know what that is? It makes you vomit. It makes you throw up. If they swallow poison, you give it to them. I bought it when my kids were little. I was reading the box. It has an expiration date on it. How bad can that go? It makes you puke. Hey, don't swallow that. That's old. That's gone bad. That'll make you sick right there. You need to buy some new fresh Serpivepicac. Hey, kids, come here. We need to finish this up. Where are you guys? Come here. Told you I was in Phoenix. What they have in Phoenix? I'm not making this up. You know what they have in Phoenix? Tanning salons. Yes, they do. You know what? I've been to Alaska. I couldn't buy a snow cone. Just goes to prove people buy things they don't need. I'm convinced of that. Have you seen those ads on TV for that Miracle-Ear? If you can hear all the words but can't understand them, you need Miracle-Ear. If I can hear all the words but can't understand them, I might be in Mexico. Do you know in Seattle, the last 3 years, we've had 5 major windstorms. All 5 of those major windstorms, every one of them been on a Thursday. You know how I know that? It's my garbage day. Spent every one of those windstorms looking for my garbage can. Never found it either, but at least now I got a nicer one. Anybody else do the windstorm upgrade? Like, oh man, this one's nicer than mine. I'm grabbing this one. We had a huge windstorm several years ago, right before Christmas. Everybody lost power 5 to 8 days. It's cute when you lose the power, isn't it? For 20 minutes. For 20 minutes, it's kind of a novelty. You're like, I keep turning on that light. It's fun for a few minutes. Day 5, it's lost its charm. You're burning toys and furniture at that point. Let go of that. You don't play with that anymore. But after that storm, in the Seattle region, 13 people died. 100 people were hospitalized for barbecuing in the house. You know what? Sometimes we just need to thin the herd. I read those things in the paper, I go, that is so tragic. But after that storm, the Washington State Legislature held an emergency session specifically to pass a law. Now in the state of Washington, all barbecues have to have a sign on them telling you not to barbecue in the house. Do we really need to be told not to barbecue in the house? Here's one for you. Don't put bacon in your pants and tease a pit bull either. There's certain things in life we don't need to be told. And if you're thinking about barbecue in the house, I'm pretty sure you're not a reader. And we followed that windstorm up with some snow. You want some good comedy? I want you to come to Seattle. We get a half an inch of snow. You'll see the dumbest population you've ever seen in your life. People just parking their car on the bridge, walking home. That's it. I'm leaving it. I was in downtown Seattle. I saw on 5th Avenue a front-wheel drive Honda Civic tire chains on the rear wheels. I wish I was making that up. I just want to go over there, open up that door, reach in and go, you are so ignorant. I can't believe... Is that a barbecue in your back seat? You better not smell bacon. Ladies, admit this too. You're walking around in the snow and ice with your husband or boyfriend, holding her arms so you won't slip. But basically your attitude is, if I'm going down, this idiot's going with me right here. Yeah, I figured that one out right away. Let go, let go, let go! It's slick out here. Jeez. Did you guys see this? McDonald's announced they will no longer be using styrofoam. They'll be using cardboard. I'm thinking sooner or later they're going to have to use meat. Wow, apparently McDonald's fans in here. I'm sorry. I've been at my yard, working on my yard. I got these bald spots in the front yard. I don't know what caused it. They seem to be getting bigger. I've tried everything to make grass grow. Nothing works. So I'm going to do, right next to the bald spot, I'm going to grow the grass really long. Rake it over the top, baby. Gonna make my yard great again. I did a show in Billings, Montana. Woohoo! It's a nice town. It's the only town in America that considers chewing tobacco a vegetable. Audience is like a sea of John Deere hats and styrofoam cups. And it was ladies' night. Ugh. I was in Portland, Oregon last summer. This was a newspaper while I was in Portland. The sheriff's department had pulled a headless body out of the Willamette River. It said right in the article, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Department has not yet determined the cause of death. He's got no head. I just pictured all these cops and I go, what do you suppose killed him? Think he drowned? But that water ran right down his neck. But the article went on to say they had not yet ruled out suicide. I mentioned there was no head. I mentioned that, right? How do you chop off your own head? That's what I'm... Oh, gee, this hurts. Woo! What kind of plan was this? How do you chop off your own head? That's what I want to turn on the bandsaw, run down the hall. Ching, oh, I nicked it. God, gee. Honey, we go to the emergency room. Let's try that new place in Spanish for you. How do you chop off your head, hide your head, go jump in a river? Oh, finally, I got my head off. Gee, that's a lot of work. All right, I gotta hide this darn thing now. Okay. There's a good spot. They'll never find that. I'm gonna go jump in a river. Where's the river? About 6 weeks ago, I was in the San Francisco airport. In the San Francisco airport, I saw a dwarf wearing a Giants jacket. I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't stop laughing. I was looking around going, does anyone else not see how funny that is? I work on about 6 or 8 cruise ships a year. I was up in Juneau, Alaska. It's beautiful if you'd ever been there. It's right on the water, and these big, beautiful mountains come up directly behind the city. And early in the cruise season, they still have snow on them. The locals told me the number one asked question by these tourists that get off the ship and look around is, oh, what's the elevation here? You just got off a boat. You remember going uphill? That is so sad. I just grab him by the head and dip in that salt water. That is salt water, see? Salt water, see? Sea level. First time I flew to Alaska, like 25 years ago, I flew from Seattle to Anchorage. I had this bonehead sitting next to me. He's talking to me. He goes, you ever been to Hawaii? I've been there a couple of times. He goes, I've never been to Hawaii. In fact, we land in Anchorage. I'll be the closest I've ever been to Hawaii. What makes you think we can fly 3.5 hours north of Seattle, be closer to Hawaii? Ever look at a map? But I think the problem is every map of the United States you've ever seen, it's the lower 48, right in the corner, Hawaii and Alaska. It took you a minute, but you got it, and I appreciate it. I tore my hamstring a couple years ago. I tore it really bad, and I know you don't care, and basically I did was aggravate an old high school fishing injury. Seeing if you're listening. But I was getting over that. I was thinking about that. Tearing muscles is unique to humans, isn't it? You never seen your cat jump out of a dead sleep, run down the hall. It's true. You ever seen a bird take off and pull a wing? Oh, jeez, oh. I'm gonna be walking for weeks. These big web feet, they're no good. You know, it really suck if you're a snake and you threw your back out. Well, I see a dog just one time walk up to something and go, ah! The old high school frisbee injury. We have a cat at home. Who's got a cat at home? Cat owners? Cat owners? Yeah? You ever step in cat puke barefooted about 3:30 in the morning? Oh, more cat owners now. That's nice, isn't it? Stumbling into the bathroom at 3:30 in the morning, half dead to the world. Oh, God, gee. Stupid cat. Oh, that was still warm. Here's something for the cat owners. You ever wake up to this at 3:30 in the morning? Jump out of bed in the dark, naked with no glasses on. All I'm trying to do is find the cat so you can throw him on the tile. Not on the carpet, not on the carpet. Where is he? Where is he? Not on the carpet, not on the carpet. All you do when you grab the cat is give him the Heimlich maneuver. You're walking back to bed. I think I got him in time. Oh, jeez, stop. Hey, good thing these pillows are down here. Listen, you guys are wonderful. Thank you very much. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Thank you so much.